My 30M GF 27F had an affair with her childhood friend on a trip abroad. I'm thinking about working through it. Advice. Update. I dropped by when she wasn't around and tried to get into WhatsApp again. Her computer password has changed and she will not share it or the messages with me. She says sharing her private things with me isn't a solution, since I can't evaluate the full extent of the damage or trust her anymore. I've ended the relationship and will be moving out rapidly. I already regret trying to get more evidence that way, and should have just broken it off when I realized I would have to play the role of cop instead of partner. Therapy incoming, stronger financial plan incoming, new living situation incoming, hopefully better me incoming. TLDR, my GF cheated on me. I found the WhatsApp messages and feel betrayed, but not particularly enraged about it. I don't hate her. There's no excuse for what she did but some problems in the relationship, lack of intimacy, monotony, lack of follow-through, that probably contributed to it. I'm open to taking her back and working through it, but I'm also wondering if the hassle that comes with lack of trust will be worth dealing with. The title is an important part here. I'm partially writing this out to help myself make a final decision about what to do next. I'll tell the story first, then provide additional context about our relationship, then ask whether it's worth trying to repair. My girlfriend and met in grad school 4 years ago and have been living together, mostly happily, in a small apartment for 3 of them. While I work from home, she's a teacher and has the summer off. We have trips coming up we're taking with family, but I told her she should plan some vacations for herself because she doesn't need to be cooped up with me in the apartment all summer. She's a foreign service brat and grew up moving all over the world. So she reached out to an old friend and went to visit him and his parents in Amsterdam for the week. I don't get many texts from her while she's there. Somewhat out of character, but I am a terrible texter when I'm on trips, so I figure she's really living in the moment out there. When I pick her up at the airport, though, things feel off immediately. She seems distant, unenthusiastic about coming back to the States. She tells me she didn't sleep on the flight, so I chalk it up to exhaustion and jet lag, make her comfortable at home, and help her sleep. But this continues over the next few days. I try to instigate intimacy, and she tells me she got a UTI at the beach in The Hague and needs to wait a moment. I'm getting more suspicious at this point because while the water here is filthy, she also gets those after sex sometimes. Our plan has always been to move abroad together so she can teach at international schools. Now she is seemingly more motivated than ever about this plan, but also more uncertain about our future, questioning whether I can cope with the move. I have already lived abroad, so yes, alarming stuff. I ask where this is coming from, and she says she needs a few days to think about because she doesn't fully understand. I tell her I'll wait, but can't sleep that night, and decide I'll go through her messages when there's an opportunity. So when she's at her hair appointment the next day, I get into her MacBook and go through her iMessage first, nada. Then I download WhatsApp and get lucky opening it on her desktop. And they were all there. I miss sleeping next to you. I'm still high on your love. There's more, but you get the idea. AP asks if there are next steps about moving there, and she says she isn't sure she wants there to be next steps, etc. WhatsApp logs me out automatically before I can grab screenshots, but I let her know we need to talk. She cancels her hair appointment, and I tell her I'll give her one chance to tell me what happened in Amsterdam. She admits it, cries, expresses remorse, calls it the worst mistake of her life. I tell her it's not the end of the world, people do this, but that we won't be dating anymore and we'll have to break our lease. I am crashing with my parents figuring this out and already have a room lined up if I decide to finalize the breakup. Obviously, I feel gutted and don't want to be doing any of this. I've told her I'm still deciding. A little context on our relationship. I believe this is out of character for her and a one-time thing in our relationship. She did it, got too weird to hide it, and I caught her. Our life together is great in many ways, but we also live under the constant stress of money problems. We haven't taken vacations we've wanted to, haven't moved into a bigger place. I've been bad about follow-through, figuring out freelance opportunities that could help alleviate some of that stress, and am being quite austere because I've been paying down credit card debt I've accumulated, paying it off this month. I am finally getting some more opportunities going, so we have some more financial wiggle rooms. But it's like 3 years down the pike. I've wanted to marry her since our 2nd year dating, but wanted to pay down my debt first to afford the ring. She very much wants that, and her parents have been bothering her about when I'm going to ask her. So I told her to pick out something she likes, thinking she would go online and find a design, but she went into a ring store and consulted in person. When she told me that, I was flustered and embarrassed. That didn't make her mad, but it did make her despair a little bit because she thought I wasn't ready, something she just communicated after the cheating thing. Really, I felt inadequate and like I had let something we both want to get away from me from for too long. We've got intimacy problems. We only have sex a couple times per month. It's always good, but too infrequent, and it's largely on me. I'm definitely watching porn frequently. When I don't do that, sex happens more frequently. Big one. I got a DUI last year. Totaled my car and a parked car. So quite bad. That was incredibly dangerous, incredibly stupid, and I haven't had a drink since. Not seeking absolution here, and I welcome judgment and criticism for this. I'm going to continue to be better than I was that night. She stuck with me, but needless to say, her worry did turn to anger and resentment for a while. We had transparent conversations how she felt like I had done something incredibly selfish and that she had intrusive thoughts about infidelity to hurt me. That seemed to have gone away after I paid fines and navigated the justice system, and that we had worked it out. While the cheating is obviously a knockout punch here, I'm largely the one who has let down the side in our relationship. She's got legitimate trauma in her personal history. I mentioned she's a foreign service brat. She moved 7 times before high school and developed an unstable view of social relationships. Friends weren't to be kept since they always went away. Her parents would intentionally tell the kids about the move in a public place like a restaurant, so they wouldn't have a meltdown. Most of our friends are my friends, although she has a few close ones. Her mom wanted her to be a model and would explicitly control her food intake, dinner if she didn't run for an hour, etc. All of this is to say, there are problems here exacerbating an already weak sense of loyalty because of her upbringing. None of that excuses the infidelity. Then there's me. I feel betrayed, no doubt. It's doubly bad I had to catch her after she lied to me. It's not clear she was going to tell me. It's possible. She could have been monkey branching, but seems unlikely she would be able to keep a long-distance relationship going. She also seemed against that idea when the other guy suggested it. I also do believe this was out of character and that she wouldn't do it again. I'm also just not hugely offended by infidelity. The impulse is there for me too. I believe human beings are questionably monogamous and have to do a lot of work to make these very social and economic arrangements work. That doesn't mean it's okay or that I'm not hurt, but if I'm honest, I'm not feeling a sense of moral outrage about this, and talking to her about it has been more therapeutic than just trying to leave. I feel open to the idea of working it out in couples therapy. My bigger issue is that I can't trust her, at least for the time being. I think about the boundaries we would have to set up and just don't love the hassle of asking for access to her messages to make sure nothing is still going on or feeling you comfortable about her taking trips without me. I also don't love the idea of scenes of infidelity in movies and TV reminding me of it. I want to believe we could get past those times of mistrust. I'm open to the idea of finding out, but it doesn't make me very excited to go through that first. Open to all advice. I will not rebut anything people say here.